When was the last time you faced a challenge that shook you to your core? Maybe it was a relationship that ended unexpectedly, a financial setback, or a health scare. In those moments, some people crumble, while others rise like a phoenix from the ashes. What makes the difference? It's not luck, intelligence, or even experience. It's mental strength. Mental strength isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about resilience, adaptability, and the ability to stay grounded when life throws curveballs. And here's the thing. The traits that define mentally strong people aren't a mystery. They can be observed, learned, and applied by anyone. Today, I'm going to share 5 unmistakable signs of mentally strong people. These aren't just theories. They're life-tested traits that I've seen in those who overcome the toughest of circumstances. And, in some cases, even in myself. By the end of this video, you'll not only recognize these traits in others, but also know how to cultivate them within yourself. So, grab a pen, because you're not going to want to forget what's coming next. Let's dive in. Mental strength is one of the most underestimated yet transformative qualities a person can possess. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build, like a muscle, over time and through experience. I've lived over 8 decades, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that life doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. When we think of strength, we often picture physical power, lifting heavy objects or enduring physical challenges. But mental strength? That's an entirely different game. It's about weathering emotional storms, staying grounded in uncertainty, and having the courage to keep going when everything in you screams to stop. Now here's the thing. Being mentally strong doesn't mean you never struggle, never feel afraid, or never fall. It means that when you do fall, you get back up. It's about bending without breaking, holding your values in a world that constantly tests them, and thriving even in adversity. I've met countless people in my life who've displayed remarkable mental strength, friends, family, strangers, and every single one of them taught me something profound. And here's the kicker. The signs of mental strength aren't flashy. They're quiet, steady, and unshakable. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 key signs that define mentally strong people. These aren't just traits to admire. They're blueprints for a better life. By understanding and embracing them, you can face life's challenges with resilience and grace. Let's uncover them together. One of the most defining signs of mentally strong people is their unwavering ability to take responsibility for their actions. They don't blame others for their failures, nor do they make excuses when things go wrong. Instead, they own their choices, their mistakes, and their successes with equal measure. Let me share a story from my younger days. I remember working on a project with a close friend. It was a big opportunity for both of us. But due to a mistake I made, the entire plan fell apart. I could have easily pointed fingers or justified my error by saying, well, it was out of my control. But instead, I chose to face the situation head-on. I apologized to my friend and took full responsibility for what happened. It wasn't easy. Nothing about admitting fault ever is. But it taught me a valuable lesson. Accountability is the cornerstone of growth. Mentally strong people understand that blaming others or external circumstances only robs them of their power. If you don't own your actions, you can't change your future. It's like the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Owning your actions puts the control back in your hands. Taking responsibility doesn't just build character, it strengthens relationships. People respect those who admit when they're wrong because it shows integrity and humility. When you're accountable, you become trustworthy, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. So the next time something doesn't go as planned, ask yourself, what role did I play in this? reflect, learn, and grow. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's a gift. It's how you become stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the challenges ahead. Mentally strong people have a unique ability to embrace change, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. Change is one of life's only constants, and those who resist it often find themselves stuck, while those who welcome it continue to grow. I remember a pivotal moment in my own life. I had spent years in the same job, following the same routine, surrounded by the same people. It was comfortable, predictable, and completely unfulfilling. One day, I had to make a decision: stay where I was or take a leap into something new and unknown. It wasn't easy, but I chose to embrace the change, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions of my life. Mentally strong people don't see change as an enemy. Instead, they see it as an opportunity. Whether it's moving to a new city, starting a new career, or learning a new skill, they understand that growth only happens outside of their comfort zones. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, what feels like a roadblock often becomes the path forward if you let it. Of course, embracing change doesn't mean it's always easy or smooth. There will be moments of doubt, fear, and even failure. But mentally strong people know that these are temporary. They focus on the long-term benefits rather than the short-term discomfort. They remind themselves that every challenge, every shift, and every new chapter is an opportunity to learn something valuable. Take a moment to think about your own life. Are there areas where you've resisted change because it felt too risky or uncomfortable? What would happen if, instead of fearing it, you leaned into it? Change isn't something to endure, it's something to harness. When you embrace it, you discover strength, resilience, and opportunities you never thought possible. One of the most defining traits of mentally strong people is their ability to maintain emotional control, no matter the situation. Life throws curveballs at all of us: arguments, disappointments, frustrations. But how we handle those moments defines our character. For mentally strong individuals, it's not about suppressing emotions, it's about managing them wisely. Let me share a story from my own life. Years ago, during a heated family discussion, someone said something deeply hurtful to me. My younger self would have reacted impulsively, throwing fuel onto the fire. But that day, I paused. I took a deep breath and reminded myself that my response would determine whether the situation escalated or resolved peacefully. Instead of reacting with anger, I calmly expressed how I felt and steered the conversation toward understanding. That moment didn't just diffuse the tension, it strengthened our relationship. The truth is, emotional control is not about being robotic or emotionless. It's about knowing when to act and when to step back. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom is a guiding principle for mentally strong people. They know emotions like anger, sadness, or frustration are natural, but they don't let those emotions dictate their actions. Think about it. How often do people say or do things in the heat of the moment that they later regret? Mentally strong people avoid this by practicing self-awareness. When they feel overwhelmed, they pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with their values and long-term goals. They refuse to let temporary feelings derail their progress or damage their relationships. This doesn't mean they ignore their emotions. They acknowledge them, process them, and then respond thoughtfully. For example, instead of shouting back during an argument, they might say, "I need a moment to think about this before responding." That simple pause creates space for clarity and prevents regretful outbursts. So, here's a question for you. The next time someone pushes your buttons, can you pause? Can you choose to respond in a way that reflects your strength rather than your frustration? Emotional control isn't about suppressing who you are. It's about showing the best version of yourself, even when life gets tough. Mentally strong people excel at setting healthy boundaries, an essential yet often overlooked skill in life. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out or being selfish. They're about preserving your mental and emotional well-being. It's knowing where to draw the line between helping others and protecting your peace. Let me share an example from my younger years. I had a friend who constantly called on me to solve their problems. At first, I didn't mind. I wanted to be supportive, but over time it started to drain me. I was staying up late to counsel them, neglecting my own needs and feeling resentful. One day, I realized something had to change. I kindly told my friend, "I care about you, but I also need to take care of myself. I can't always be available." It wasn't an easy conversation, but it was necessary. You see, boundaries are a form of self-respect. They let others know how you expect to be treated and what you're willing to accept. Mentally strong people understand that without boundaries, life becomes chaotic. Relationships, no matter how close, should never come at the expense of your peace or values. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed because you couldn't say no. Maybe you took on extra work at the office or agreed to plans when you were exhausted. Mentally strong individuals don't let guilt dictate their decisions. They understand that saying no to others often means saying yes to themselves. Here's what's remarkable about setting boundaries. It doesn't push people away. It actually fosters healthier relationships. When you communicate your limits clearly and respectfully, you teach others to value your time and energy. And for those who don't respect your boundaries, that's a sign they were never truly invested in your well-being to begin with. As author Brené Brown wisely said, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others. Mentally strong people live by this. They don't view boundaries as walls, but as guidelines that protect their time, energy, and values. If you've struggled with setting boundaries, start small. The next time you're asked to do something that feels overwhelming, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I saying yes out of obligation or genuine desire? And if it's the former, practice saying no. Trust me, it gets easier with time, and the peace you'll gain is worth every effort. Mentally strong people possess an extraordinary ability to persevere, no matter how challenging the circumstances. Adversity to them isn't a wall, it's a hurdle, and hurdles are meant to be overcome. Their strength lies in their resilience, their refusal to let setbacks define their journey. Take Thomas, a close friend of mine. In his 50s, Thomas lost his job after 2 decades at the same company. It was devastating. His career, his identity, his financial security, all seemed to crumble overnight. Many people in his shoes might have given up, but not Thomas. Instead of wallowing in despair, he said, "I've survived worse, and I'll survive this too." He took online courses, networked tirelessly, and eventually landed a position that paid less but brought him immense satisfaction. Today, he credits that period as the catalyst for a happier, more fulfilling life. You see, mentally strong people understand that adversity is a part of life. It's not a question of if, but when. And when it comes, they don't let it break them. They rely on their inner strength, their ability to adapt, and their belief that tough times are temporary. Stoic philosophers often emphasize this principle. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Mentally strong people live by this idea. They see obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to grow, to test their limits, and to become stronger. Think about the stories of great achievers, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs. None of them reached their goals without setbacks. What sets them apart isn't luck or talent alone. It's their determination to keep going when the odds were against them. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player of all time, once said, "I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." But perseverance isn't just about grand achievements. It's about the small daily battles, too. It's the single-parent juggling working kids, the retiree learning a new skill, or the individual recovering from illness. Mentally strong people celebrate every step forward, no matter how small, because they know progress, however slow, is still progress. If you're facing adversity right now, let me share a tip. Break the challenge down into manageable pieces. Don't focus on climbing the entire mountain. Just focus on the next step. And when that step feels impossible, remind yourself of the times you've overcome hardships before. You've already survived your toughest days, and that's proof you can keep going. Remember, adversity doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Perseverance isn't about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. And in that rising, you find your strength. Life is never without its challenges, but the way we respond to those challenges defines who we are. Mentally strong people don't have it all figured out, nor do they live without pain or difficulty. What sets them apart is their mindset, their ability to take responsibility, embrace change, maintain emotional control, set boundaries, and persevere through adversity. These aren't qualities reserved for a select few. They're traits anyone can develop with intention and practice. Whether you're 25 or 75, it's never too late to strengthen your mental resilience and lead a life of purpose and peace. The wisdom of the Stoics teaches us that the true measure of a person isn't what happens to them, but how they rise to meet it. And when you cultivate these traits, you're not just surviving life, you're thriving in it. You're showing yourself and those around you the power of true inner strength. So remember, life will test you, but it's in those moments that you have the chance to show your strength, grow wiser, and inspire others by example. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community here at John the Stoic. Your comments and feedback inspire me to keep sharing wisdom and insights that can truly transform lives. Share your thoughts below. What traits of mental strength do you see in yourself? Or which one will you start working on today? I'd love to hear your stories. Let's continue on this journey of wisdom, resilience, and growth together. See you in the next video.